streams. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Gabagoo Wednesdays, baby. Yep. My positions are pretty much right at 100%. So we'll see. Bank of Canada interest rate announced 9:45 Eastern, expected to cut by 0.25. Should spark rally in the U.S. Nice. Any significant SR levels today? All upside right now. All upside. There goes NASDAQ still breaking out, 18,851 right at the moment. Nice. 18,800 liquid right here on the books. And we're going to see how they deal with this. I would expect, like I said, a little bit of profit taking right here at the open. Nvidia is up strong, almost at 1200 at the moment. I got to lower my music down a little bit. A little loud. There's a market open already. Red candles. We'll see what they're going to do with that. Boom. 18,842. They do have 18,800, which would be a beautiful 40-point pullback. And on the money, thesis filled. And that is daily goal on the props, and I can shut those down already. Beautiful. All right, closing out Apex. I'm going to deal with that crap so I can focus on my IBKR. 18,800 liquidity down from 18,840. Taking a look across the market here, we have all red or all green on the X's, except for XLU, which is down 0.26. Everything else is quite green. Quite green. All of the tech is green as well. Meta's up 1.7, Nvidia's up 1.24, etc. 18,800 is main liquidity here on NASDAQ for the time being. ES is dropping considerably here as well with very little liquidity except for 53.22. We just had a 1,000 block spoof up on that level. And we'll be watching that. Let me get the YouTube. It's already going, but let me get the stream up so I can see the comments, the chat. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Un momento, por favor. Extraordinary pre-market. Extraordinary pre-market. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? All right, let's see. VIX down 1297. Apple's rocketing. Nvidia with a little bit of red to profit take. I need to go track the options data shifting as well. Man, YouTube did an update and everything's different. I got to get used to it. XLF is hanging out for 41.27. Let's take a look. Yesterday, the IV was juiced. Today, for some reason, my contracts are off. Let me go back to the 5th of June. IV is about 21%, so IV is continuing to build. Continuing to build, which is not to sound too furu, but as expected, we knew IV was going to start going up from here. 5,300 is the GEX, just like yesterday. And we'll see if that starts to shift up. And I'm just chilling right now. Chilling like a villain. So far, so good if this candle holds. Yep. A firm. And we'll see if that exactly the profit taking they needed. That was about 30 points worth of profit taking on NASDAQ. ES came off, I don't know, 8 points or so. And we'll see what's going to happen here. I would expect, you know, shaking and baking the first half hour before we start to launch. But I am in BTD mode today and buy the dip mode today. So I don't know how much red they'll provide us, but if they do, I'll jump back in and try to get some zeros for a little bit more leverage on. I want to start increasing my deltas a little bit on today's session after carrying in the long exposure I currently have. Chest pumps, back workouts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got a severe shoulder impingement on my left shoulder, so I'm nursing that baby. It's hard to do chest workouts with it, but I got it through. I just pumped me full of some ibuprofen and I'm set. I'm set. NVIDIA is 1180. Ice baths, yeah. All right, so 11,834 here Nasdaq so far. It's kind of a contained open. We do have some more data today. Currently June 5th. We already had a little bit of minor data at 0815, 945. We have S&P Global Services. 10 o'clock we have ISM Manufacturing. 10:30 we have crude oil. And that should be it. Now, if you want a little oil news, because oil is a fantastic name, that if you want to play a little oil, watch out for the 10:30 news. That's the catalyst for them. I've had a rib at a place that's been bugging me. Man, that's no good. S2, S3 range touch for profit taken personally before I take some trades. Either way, I'll have a limit buy set up. Nice. When you say the IV is heading up as we expected, what would I have done to trade the expected movement? Or is that just a metric considered on the whole? Yeah, not just a metric. That data point alone won't really help you in terms of directionality. It's just an environment thing, especially if you're an option seller. This is not the greatest environment to be riding iron condors. I wouldn't, like me personally, I would not want to have an iron condor holding into Friday simply because the premiums aren't going to really decay as much as you'd like. The IV would be starting to increase. Premiums are going to be holding up as the volatility increases, and you're not going to get the decay on the premiums that you're going to necessarily get. You're going to want. Now, I could also expect IV and then a little bit right, a little more IV pump, and also the volatility of the price action to increase here as well. 53.22. So it looks like Nasdaq is still going to try to go for this 800 area, which is 20 points down. This is the retest of the little shelf that we triple topped off of. So if they gave this out, I would probably look for the big shelf at 800. Most likely that's where we're going to kind of fall down to another 18 points here or so. We'll see. ES is still trickling off here, 53.20, nicely. There's another top wick Nasdaq, 16 points down, and we'll try to come down and fill this 800 area right here. Let's go take a look at ES. ES has liquid down to 53.10. They've got 53.24 and at 53.34 as well. Am I still my SPX swing? Yep, still my SPX. I plan on holding that until tomorrow. The only way I'll close that if I see some extreme price action today that I don't expect. It's like a huge sell-off. I'll go ahead and close it, but I'm sitting right at 100%. I'm sitting pretty. But I'll continue to hold that into Thursday. Everything still fits the thesis. I've had rib issues. You can use a tennis ball laying on the floor and roll them back into place. Nice. Your pre-market thesis process have been money. They have been. Yeah, they've been working really well. So Nasdaq should still fall down to 800 here, 18,800 on this price action. They're just kind of dealing with the 816 area, which is 817 area, which was the shelf from 7 o'clock, 7:30, and so on and so forth. We'll see. Nasdaq, let's see, bouncing around. We've got ES 53.24, 53.35 as well. Let me go take a look at the options data. I've got it pulled up. GEX is now shifting to 53.30. It just shifted off 5,300 up to 53.30. So beautiful. Definitely starting to shift for that pull higher as soon as we gather some inventory here. Lightweight, baby. Yeah. All right. I guess Nasdaq is not going to hit that 800 yet, at least just yet. That was a pretty large engulfing, 20 points off the bottom. But all signs do point to higher here. All signs point to higher. We'll just got to figure out when they're exactly done with any kind of their morning profit taking, and then we'll start to BTD. Let's take a look at oil. Oil's down to 74, 73.70 or so after an onslaught the past few days. And right now their main level is 74. Russell's selling off. YM is selling off. Right here. See 18,831. 1,200 inbound. Yeah. Yeah. There goes Russell. I would probably look for Russell to recapture 2041. That's their next base. Nice little move. Nice little move. Which VWAP is more respected, SPY or ES? I think you're splitting hairs there. I wouldn't really focus on one or the other. You remember, VWAP is not price action based. VWAP is a calculation. So, I think a better question would be which support would be more well respected, ES or SPY. If you want to become a successful, profitable trader, I would, my opinion, I would completely get away from those things until you've got a good handle on price action on those lines. That is the question. Honestly, they both work well. They both work well. I see a good correlation between both of them. They both bounce where they should, which is pretty much when the other one's bouncing, the SPY is going to be bouncing as well. If for some reason we had a divergence and I need to pick, I would go with ES. ES is the futures people. That's what the big dogs are going to be trading and scalping as needed for hedging. They still use SPY, obviously, but if it came down to the nuts and bolts of it, in a particular short-dated environment, I would go with ES. All right, options data right now. Market net flow is bullish. We have the GEX shifting from 5,300 up to 5,330. And let me go take a look at the other data. On the flow, come on now. There we go, loading. Pretty neutral at the moment. We have Apple is strong call buying. We have Q's strong call buying, Nvidia strong call buying, SPX strong call buying across the board. So launching across the board, it looks like NASDAQ is not going to take much profit here. So I hope it does, because I don't want to miss out on another BTD here. I would love for this thing to get down to 800 so I could smash the bid. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to front run much here. I'm going to be very patient. Very patient. Very patient. Opportunity will come. Just got to be wait. Is there a way to backtest on IBKR? I actually don't know. I do all my testing and backtesting with the replay functions and the backtesting strategies in TradingView. I only use IBKR for execution. I don't do any analysis on IBKR, me personally. All right, let's take a look at the Qs. Patience is key, absolutely. Patience is key. Still no real profit taking across the board. Still nothing. We had that one little red candle here, but they're kind of holding and building at 8.3. We do have data here in 3 minutes, and then again at the top of the hour, so that's probably what we're waiting for. We've got 1840 here, as well as this little cat down here at 800. Zooming out, definitely skewed to the high side. So once we fill this 800, I think we're somewhere in that area. We'll be clear to start BTDing for this stuff. ES, let's go take a look at them. They are clearing off the book here. 53.25 and 35 remain, and that is all we got. NASDAQ still pinned to 830. So they're not going to move it. They're going to pin it right here until data, and then shake and bake from there. Nvidia is rolling off here back down to the low side of their range for the time being. But overall, back and forth choppy open. We'll see what's going to happen. Remember, I do have a bookmap at the top of the hour, so right at the top of the hour, we'll be shifting over to do that. Actually, no, it's 9:30, so it's in 45 minutes. Let's see. How big of a deal is it for Ukraine to attack inside Russia with U.S. weapons? Well, that really depends on Russia's response. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, they've already been using United States weapons for, 3 years now it's been going on that war. So, it's really depend on Russia's response. How strong does Russia want to respond? Other than that, the market's going to ride off everything until something unexpected and drastic happens. Only then will the market respond to it. Data in about 10 seconds. 18841. Large green so far, 838. Top wick, red candles back down. Blah, blah, blah. Overall, still pinned to 830. I'm surprised RTYYM can't catch a bid and DXY are conducive to equities. Yep. NASDAQ is about to go higher here. Clear out 843 at the 30-point bounce. No pullback whatsoever so far. So if this does break out at the moment, I'm going to miss it, so I hope it doesn't. But if it does, I'm going to start having to building positions around 850 retest. My Canadian brethren are about to get a break on rates. Yep. Good little top wick. VIX is up to 13. Now, going into tomorrow, you may start to see a little odd behavior on the VIX. If you're someone who normally likes to see inverse action on the VIX, VIX go down, markets go up. You may not see that the next Thursday, and you may see it today a little bit, but Thursday, Friday, you may not see that because the volatilities are going to start to build into Friday's session. And, yeah. Just be ready for that. 18838. If we get over the 853 on Bookmap or on NASDAQ, I would expect to start to fly here. So I know I'm waiting for a pullback to long it, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it, at least down to 819, 800 here. If it does, I'll be glad, and we'll start to hammer it. And if it goes above, I'll have to be just analytical on where I'm going to enter here. I do expect higher prices today, just on which it's going to give us a pullback or not, but it doesn't look like we're going to get much here. We've got 53.25, 35 up top. We'll see. At least we have more consistent trends. Yeah, definitely. 18,800 is a light level, though, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So we've got 18,800 is light. The bigger level is now 18,820, which is coming on. But the point is here is that we've been on a rampage here. There's no pullback for inventory, which it's one of those things that if you're bullish, you want it to pull back. You want a good, decent pullback to gather inventory to go higher, because the higher it goes without a pullback, the more fragile the trend becomes. So that's really what you're looking to provide, is some sort of inventory for the buyers to go. And anything more, like right now, it's pretty extended. So I want this thing to fly. I'm expecting higher prices, but I love a good pullback to 800, maybe even 890, so I could start to long the position and go up. Now, the unfortunate thing is I have to do that on my IBKR, because with prop firms now, I'd love to start legging into some micros on the way down, but you can't do that now because you won't get a payout, which I've already done anyway, so I'm most likely going to get denied. So that's the problem, is that you kind of have to time it a little bit more accurately and just put it on one position. NVIDIA is blasting higher, 1188. 3 red dojis in a row here across the board. 18842. We have liquidity down 832. What's going on with NASA? Rocket launch today. Nice. A couple of rocket launches expected today, I guess. Monday AM was tough, but I made one week just yesterday calls and still some more. Nice. There you go. It's beautiful. All right. A small red attempt on 830, instantly bottom wicked, so there's still no really red pressure here. We got 825 liquidity. I can't get through there. Made that gabagoo. I love it, Danny. I love it. I love it. Instant bottom wick right there. Still very tight price action holding. Nvidia's still going higher. Apple's coming down. Microsoft is heading lower to the bottom of their range. Dow got smoked and is still getting smoked. Russell got smoked and is not bouncing. XLF is down and kind of staying down. And NASDAQ just bounced again, flipping back to green. Data in 10 minutes. Once we take out 850, which is trying to do that, it's going to launch. We're going to launch. And I do not, I hope we, like I said, I want to fill this structure lower before we head higher. I know the market really doesn't care what you want, but I would love for it to fill this 800 stack before we launch, because I don't want to launch and then have to come back and deal with this and regather. I want to go ahead and gather inventory now and then launch. All right, there's a large red. A26 coming off. Just filled out the 823 block there. We may get my wish. Maybe the market is that kind. Maybe the market is that kind. Boom. 820 coming down to 800. Excellent. Excellent. 18820 coming down to 800 right there. They're building more at 800. We have a 5310 and we have data in 9 minutes. Just waiting. Just waiting. Just waiting. All right. Nvidia still breaking out, and NASDAQ still can't drop more than a couple of points. So, dang it. Dang it. Let me go take a look at longer time charts here. So far, it's a pretty tight range so far. I want to build out that range. We have 15-minute dojis. We have a hammer followed by a doji. But this one is going to quickly go up to the top. 30-minute hammer candle, which is about to clear. And data in 8 minutes. Yeah, tell me about it. 850. Once we clear 853, this will now be a third attempt to go higher here. So the more attempts at this level, the more likely we are going to breach and head higher. Right now, this is putting on an ascending triangle. Not an ascending wedge, but an ascending triangle, which is bullish. And here we go. Break-a-moo. 857. Took some lotto 5390s at 5 cents. Pure lotto bounce off news, all nothing. Nice. Excellent. Is summer typically more rangy? Yes, typically. Now we are in an odd year. We got a lot going on this year, but typically, yeah. All right, still heading higher. Extraordinary. ES is not kind of following suit, though. ES is actually going down and staying down. NASDAQ is going up and staying up. Russell's coming off pretty hard. And NASDAQ's about to break 862. Apply. There we go. Oil, a nice little launch there. I want to focus more on oil here coming up at 10:30 as well. Large bottom wick. Nvidia's rocking it up there, almost to 1200. The further this goes without a pullback, though, the more likely it's going to pull back into the late morning, early afternoon. So That's why I want this thing to go ahead and pull back now. I want to get on a position early and modest a rebus. But, yeah, I mean, look, XLF is getting smoked at the moment. Banks are coming off. There's now 6 out of the 10 X's are red. No, 7 of the 10 X's are now red. It opened up mostly green. Now they're mostly red here. So the market breadth is starting to weaken. XLF is getting smoked at the moment. And NASDAQ ain't loving this stuff. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. $18,851 data in 6 minutes. Chilling out. Chilling out. Oh, man. See the clip where Senator Kennedy accused Yellen of manipulating trades to benefit Biden. Manipulating rates. I didn't see that. Interesting. I'd like to have seen it. If you got the clip, send it to me. I found something even better than last hour SPX Lotto. Instead of spending your 5 or 100K market cap on cryptos. Nice. 1,000,000%? Oh, good gosh. One of these days I'd like to get that. 1,000,000%. You got some 18-year-old sitting in a basement making 1,000,000%. Jabronis. Large green NASDAQ. ES is holding 53.20, and I wish I would have paid attention to them because they bounced right on their 53.15 target after a 12-point drop. Look at the far right. Wow. A game of memes? Can you imagine becoming a millionaire on the game of memes? Wow. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. The game of memes. Nice little top wick falling over. Here comes data. 4 minutes. A 2 billion. For 2 billion%? No way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all are crazy. All right, dropping back over here. NASDAQ, a little bit of a rejection here. No real strong plays for me at the moment. The only future trade I've taken was the initial trade right out of the open. And now I'm just looking for a good opportunity for something. But right now, I'm just going to get through the data and see how we go. Can you discuss the setup and what you're seeing for your thesis for going higher? The daily chart for me, all my thesis right now centers on the daily candles, which I posted in the stream analysis. And not even only the daily chart. If you even go down to the 30 and 60-minute chart, nothing but bottom wicks all over the place. Every single time the market rolls over into support, it's aggressively and immediately bought up. That tells me that we are accumulating for a next leg up, at least into non-farm payroll. That's why my thesis this whole week is buy the dip, go long into Thursday's session, because Thursday is when they're going to start to manipulate the order book for Friday morning, which is non-farm payroll at 08:30 Eastern Time. I expect IV to climb to the lower 30s, maybe 32, 33. I'd expect premiums to hold up and volatility to start to build into that area. Now, after non-farm payroll, I have no idea what's going to happen. We could pop a new all-time high. We could reject back down to 5,100. I don't know. But I'm going long an exposure delta into Thursday session, and then I'm going to be very cautious going into Thursday afternoon session because they could sell to refresh the book going into Friday and then pop us higher. I don't know. Non-farm payrolls are notorious for reversals. Yeah, the market typically won't really react to India news. Yeah, India got crushed, but didn't really affect the United States market. There's not much, not really much does. Is the data expected to be good? Non-farm payrolls, if it walks in line with the data we've finally been seeing the past few weeks, I would expect to miss on the non-farm. which most likely will lead to a bullish response due to the fact that the initial reaction to the rate cut theory will be a bullish thesis. Oh, bullish. What's the word I'm looking for? Bullish response, and then overall, once we do start cutting, it'll dump. However, this market has been pretty green the past couple of days, so they may use the non-farm to dump it and then bounce it back up. I don't know. That's all conjecture at this point. All I know is that right now the market is set up for higher into the event, and then after that we'll either flatten or hedge back to neutral and chill out. So if I'm understanding a combination of the bottom wicks on the daily chart and your experience moving into major data like non-farm, well, first and foremost, it's going to be the bottom wicks. You know, that's why I'm driving this higher. If we had a crap ton of top wicks, then I would be looking for down. Oh, what was that? An instant 40, 50 point candle right out of the gate. Hey now. Wow. Wow. Let's see, 18828. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Instant bottom wick. ES did the same thing. Dropped to 5307, instant bottom wick back up. That candle came and went so fast you can't even analyze it. And that was like an instant, like 60 point dump and pump. Good gosh. Bank of Canada cuts interest rates by 25 basis points, the first in the G7 to do so. Like a G7. I think it just cleared out that 800 liquid right there. That's where they got down to it. 800 liquid. ES is looking to head higher here. Let's see, 18850, another bottom wick. If this closes, they're going to launch NASDAQ here. NVIDIA is going higher here too. But it's got to close over this area. $18,842, bottom wicking. There goes green. This should do it right here. This should do it into 860. Once they clear out what they get a close over 859, they should do it. We'll see though. That's a massive hammer candle right there. I love it. To the moon. To the moon, Alice. One of these days. To the moon. That candle can make or break accounts. Hopefully it's not making or breaking anybody's accounts. Although, if I've spent, for the first time, a little bit of time on the Apex Discord server this week, an absolute dumpster fire. An absolute dumpster fire. Unfortunately, it has lowered my hope for the average retail trader by about 80%. I'm very blessed to have you all in the server. You know, sometimes I think some of you are degenerates and gamblers, but holy crap, that is a whole different level right there. Is going to that server. We are. We are. The difference is like this server may have like a little bit, you know, like when you're leaving the airport at Las Vegas and they have like a slot machine in the airport. You see somebody playing that little slot machine. There's that. And then there's like the dude at 3 o'clock in the morning sitting in Vegas, just pounding his mortgage into the slot machine every hour. Like that's Apex. It's like holy crap. There's a little bit of just fun gambling before you leave to head home, and then there's hey honey, we may have to sell the house. Oh my gosh. So the new Apex rules make sense? Nope, they don't make sense. I think it's garbage. For example, for me, I can't layer in the way I want to because I'm not going to get a payout, and I'm probably going to get denied on this next payout. So I think the new rules are garbage. I got these cheeseburgers, man. I love it. As a blackjack dealer, I know that guy. You're a blackjack dealer? Oh man, terrible. I remortgaged a house for some GM money. Yep. Man, NASDAQ does not want to go higher. Just kind of chilling at the same point like a villain. ES is still going lower here. And there's such a discrepancy here. I think that's the problem. Is that the market is actually driving a little bit lower. NASDAQ or Amazon just dumped. LLY is dumping, which is the 7th biggest name in the S&P. Microsoft is starting to dump. Apple is dumping. Nvidia, screw you guys, I'm going home. This is flying. So all of tech right now is actually pretty heavy, except for Nvidia. So if they can all start to upturn along with Nvidia, we'll get our rocket ship. Until then, we're just kind of sitting on the launch pad, waiting for weather to clear us. I popped into another server just to see. A guy in there was bragging that he had blown his Apex 500 PAs in 3 months. 500 PAs? All right, so let's assume he just did the monthly lifetime fee of 80. What is it? $80? That's $40,000 in fees. If he did the lifetime fee, that's 40. That's what? If he did the lifetime fee, is what? $150? That's almost $80,000 in fees. Are you freaking kidding me? He could have taken that money and put it in his own account. You could put it in your own account. Like, why even do props at that point? Oh my gosh. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Overall, we do have 5-minute bottom wicks in the NASDAQ, so it is holding up here. Keep an eye on the rest of tech. We are building liquidity back down to 800, but so far we're just chopping at the upper end of this range. That's extraordinary. Wow, in a bad way extraordinary. What indicates something being heavy? All the metrics that go into my analysis. So VPA, market awareness, order book, all that stuff. And then, of course, the option chain. If all those point to downward action or weak, then the market to me will represent as heavy. And I'll play accordingly. Right now, it's a mixed bag. We've got a lot of the S&P is dropping. In fact, the banks are getting crushed at the moment. We have got all of tech starting to roll over. Bonds are getting crushed. Dow's getting crushed. We have liquidity back down to about 825, 800, and we haven't really taken much profit. We did have that quick, 60-point liquidity dump there at the data, but immediately bought up. So we haven't had a true lower test in order to gather inventory today. The only thing really holding up the NASDAQ at the moment is going to be Nvidia, which if they start to sell off, I think we'll get a good 60, 70 to 80 point pullback on NASDAQ at least before higher prices. Or maybe that's it. I don't know. We had an incredible strong pre-market. Let's see. 18835. Russell's coming back off again. If Russell gives out 2040, I'll look for 2036 or so. Oil's still not moving. They've got data in 23 minutes. We have liquidity down to 825 and 800 again. I accidentally sold 3 NASDAQ short instead of closing. It worked out, but dang pucker power. Man, gotta be careful with that stuff. Apple's getting smacked. Bonds are getting smacked here too. Russell's getting smacked as well. On down. Let's see. Man, bonds are getting crushed. What's ZB doing at the moment? I'll have to do some ZB trades. Amazon too, yeah. Yeah, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft all coming down lower. NASDAQ still does not want to sell. And ES is still coming off here as well. ES has 53.20, 53.35. Let me go take a look at the Options data. Right now, it's pretty decent put buying. The GEX is now rolled back down to 53.15 after this. And if NASDAQ drops, NVIDIA drops, obviously we're going to get a push on NASDAQ. Large red. ES is coming off hard, 53.10. 5,300 right here. Apparently I'm about to hit with a storm because it's got really dark outside. All right, DXY is getting some legs. Legs like Lieutenant Dan. TLT is still dropping, 92.50. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream. Might add to my long-term port. Alrighty then. Come on now. Let's get something cooking. IV is 21%, so we're still pricing in somewhat of a decent move, or at least higher than we're normally expecting. Peaked. I love it. YM is still shifting lower. Russell is attempting to. And if NVIDIA rolls, I would scalp NASDAQ short lower with all this pressure, but that's a big if. I want to see it first. NASDAQ, or NVIDIA is trying to 1192. 53.10. We've got ES coming off here. NASDAQ is still holding with the same old crap. Same old crap. Snooze fest. XLF is 4104 coming off. We've got Russell still coming down. We've got Dow still coming down. Liquidity being removed higher, 872. If you're an oil trader, 1030. Crude oil inventories, it's the biggest catalyst for oil of the week. So now's the time to start taking a look at a little bit of CL. Coming back up, 18,840. I sold 10, exercise 2. Nice. Oh, man. Let's see. Bond's still getting crushed, 92.48. XLF is still going down. Russell and Dow still going down. VIX still heading higher to 1320. NASDAQ continues to hold on to 830. NVIDIA is 1192 and putting on some small reds. But overall, no real confident movement here. So a lot of just armchair participation here. Feels like they want to flush it. Well, I'm definitely not seeing a lot of strength at the moment. That's the problem. That's why I'm just kind of chillaxing at the moment and seeing what we can get going here. 1153.12 here. If NVIDIA puts on a red candle, it's going to smoke the NASDAQ because that's the only strength holding up the NASDAQ right now. They're going to smoke the NASDAQ. At least back down to morning range. ES is building 53 or 5290 liquidity. CL's main liquidity right now is 74. Let's see if they've got anything else. They are building lower to 7240 and change going into their catalyst here in 15 minutes. In about 7 to 8 minutes here, I'm going to sign off and start getting ready to switch over to the bookmap stream. And I'll post the links when they are active. NVIDIA is still going higher, about to take out high of the day. A31. Snooze fest. Did ES get to your level where you want to buy the dip? Potentially, yes. Yes. We got on down to 5306, and so 5300 would be great, but anywhere down here, as long as it holds, give me like a 15-minute hammer candle. Yeah, I'd be looking along here. But right now we have a lot of divergence here. You know, Nasdaq is back and forth, smack dab in the middle of the range, down to the 800 test. Nvidia is kind of like the single point of failure right now, obviously. And in terms of options data, they had a strong move up to 5350, now moved down to 5315, and the overall market flow is still bullish though. So there was a little red attempt to try to get down into the 810 area, but instantly bottom wicked. So there's still plenty of, at least not necessarily plenty of buyers, but a lack of sellers, I guess is the theme here. What's the best options trading strategy? I don't want to risk more than 1,000 per trade. Long-term swings. So wait for a VPA setup and put on a 3 to 4 week dated position and take your hands off. It works out really well. Another iceberg forming right here at 826 on Nasdaq. Nvidia is starting to get a little bit of red there, but just kind of pinned 1193. Very small participation on Nvidia at the moment. Nasdaq does not want to go anywhere. Nvidia doesn't want to go anywhere. ES is still holding down to 5313, just chilling. The CVD is still quite green, but if you notice, they're trimming it off just a touch. ES has got 5290, but overall 5335 is the main liquid. There's a pretty decent red candle on Nvidia at the moment, but now Apple's rocketing. I love to get into swings like that. OM, but VPA sales you look for. In my opinion, I mean, go look at the stream analysis channel. You know, this there's two things you need to remember when you want to take consistent trading for swing trades. One is that it's not an everyday thing. In fact, how many trades have I taken since February? 11 trades. So, not that many, and yet I'm hitting 100%. So it's not, you know, it pays to be patient and take high confidence, fewer quantity trades. And it's all about managing VPA and one having the guts to put on the trade. In fact, the next podcast I'm recording now is exactly managing your risk in terms of when you see a setup, how are you going to execute and put on your position? And if it's a high confidence position, you have to have the guts to risk up to put on a little bit more exposure. And I'm not saying risky exposure, but higher risk exposure. You need to know when to turn up the heat and when to turn down the heat when you identify these key setups. And it all comes down to VPA. You know, multiple aggressive bottom wicks, multiple aggressive top wicks, strong bullish flow, etc. Are we coming down into a major macro support? The NASDAQ is now stuck in a 5-point range, which is awful. It's awful. Can you please let me know where should I start? Yeah, so the book that we really pinned to is The Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis by Anna Coley. That's the main book I would read. So if you want to get into VPA, read that book. And obviously you're tier 2, so start going through the tier 2 video calls on the website that we've gone over, as well as the YouTube channel, and ask questions and start to identify these setups. Everything for me is big to small. Monthly, weekly, daily charts, and then you go down to the 60-minute, 30-minute, 15-minute, etc. But it's big to small. Yeah, Retrading of the Zone. Fantastic psychological book. Man, bonds are getting crushed. Look at that. 92.40 gave back all of the green. What an absolute snooze fest this turned out to be. Jeez Louise. Even on the 1 minute chart is doji after doji after doji. Terrible. 5 minute is obviously a doji. There's so much pushing and pulling. There's so much falling and there's so much climbing that the indexes aren't moving. It's just pinning flat. The Dow's getting crushed here too. Yeah. %80 of the S&P is deeply red at the moment. Deeply red. Oh man. Here comes NASDAQ creeping higher. There goes a large green engulfing on NVIDIA. Large red engulfing on Apple. I love it. I love it. Large red on Microsoft. Well, looks like I'm not adding any positions. Absolute garbage price action. 472 sell side iceberg on ES. And Bookmap has, or not Bookmap, NASDAQ liquidity down to 18,825. Large red engulfing on Apple, large red engulfing on Microsoft, large red engulfing on Dow, large green engulfing on NVIDIA, which results in a green engulfing on NASDAQ. So I might win the award for the worst entry. What's that? No trades for me. I hate decoupled markets, so I'm off. I'm just going to hold my position, and that's it. All right, 7 minutes is the Bookmap stream. I do have to sign off here. I will jump back over, and I'll post the links when they are active here. So just give me a minute here. So far, the only thing I'm riding now is my swing call, which so far is doing a little bit better. ES is starting to come along. NASDAQ is, of course, launching, even though everything is selling off except for NVIDIA. NASDAQ is launching here. No pullback whatsoever to get any kind of inventory, which kind of sucks. But hey, I'm riding the swing call. So I'll see you all here in about 5 minutes. I'm out. See you.